Across the pond.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everything in between, to Across the Pond, the podcast that dares to uncover the mysteries lurking beyond the veil of reality. From government cover-ups and secret experiments to hauntings, cryptids, and UFO encounters, we explore the unexplained and the conspiracies that keep them hidden. And for today, we are back with Mark Christopher Lee doing more UAP stuff. So, like, really, Lee, his wheelhouse. He is the Across the Pond UAP guy, of course. And I'm here to do the fancy intro. So I've done my job. Let's get to it.
I'll take over. Thank you, Stein. Yes, you're right about the fancy intro. Well rehearsed, as always. Hit the nail on the head. Nicely done. Welcome back, guys, to another episode. You with me again, UAP Lee, and I'm back again with Mark Christopher Lee. Recently, we had him on, as recent as a few weeks ago. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, that was a quick turnaround. I know we said we wanted him back on, but it's a very quick turnaround, and there's reason for that. And I will urge you as well, because for the back half of this episode, there's going to be some, some juicy exclusives from the horse's mouth himself on some crash retrieval information that has come to light. So we're looking for that. But first, I wanted to tune in to some recent stuff that you've been doing, Mark. You gave some time recently to a very interesting lady that had an interesting claim. I'm not going to introduce it. I'll let you talk us through it.
Yeah, she contacted me through TikTok. There's a lady called Kishara, based in America, claiming to be an actual member of the Anunnaki. For those who don't know, the Anunnaki were involved in ancient Sumeria. Supposedly extraterrestrials came and helped human civilization advance. Zechariah Sitchin was the proponent of this theory. There's lots of evidence in ancient Sumer of really kind of unexplained stuff, and that, civilization did start here. But how did humans go from hunter-gatherers to being a technological species? Was our evolution fast-tracked by an extraterrestrial race? It's a distinct possibility. So I'm always open to discussing this subject. And this lady, she seemed pretty credible to me. She sent me a Google Drive of evidence relating to her background. She sent me a birth certificate. She was born on a U.S. Naval hospital, a place called Camp Lejeune, which was kind of notorious for experimenting and high radiation levels. And so she claims that she is an Anunnaki hybrid of some sort. She gave me details of a lie detector test that she took, which she passed, which added more credence to what she was saying. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know, but I did arrange a live interview with her. And I thought it was very, very interesting. And she made some wild claims, which sadly have not come true yet. But she said that Yellowstone was going to erupt in America. And there was some activity in Yellowstone, so she may have just picked that out of the hat a little bit. But, Yellowstone, if it does erupt, it would bring in the new ice age. Last time it erupted was 600,000 years ago. It was a massive volcano, and it did herald an ice age, basically. It was an extinction-level event.
Well, we've looked at it, and it's been around on TikTok quite recently a lot, hasn't it? With the supposed animals leaving in herds. But having looked into it and having seen, I spoke to people that have lived close by, at least, there's not been any kind of crazy migratory patterns, or that's sort of been debunked a little bit. People sort of jumping on the bandwagon, hyping that up, as tends to happen on social media. But again, without looking into it yourself, you can't really see. You don't look at that, but as you've alluded to already, part of being a journalist is looking at that and looking at the information and doing the job, basically, journalism.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely. And I gave her a platform, I guess. And there were certain things that I weren't happy with. On the initial interview, she was making slightly racist claims, so I pulled her up on that. Just about the origins of humanity, and yeah, I didn't quite get that, and I didn't want to go down that avenue.
just on that one, just on that particular point, as you've mentioned it, the origins of humanity. I've heard before, and this is one of the things, again, a lot of this subject, unfortunately, because of the lack of disclosure, it does come down to a lot of hearing a lot of different things and looking at a lot of different things and then trying to connect the dots the best you can. Now, when you hear things, I've heard quite a few things over the years with the Anunnaki, and one of the things is, or one of the theories is, Jesus was an Anunnaki child human hybrid. That's sort of one of the theories I've heard out there in the ether. Again, I don't lend any credibility to it. I just hear it, and I've heard it before. And then when you mentioned then that she's claiming to be a hybrid as well, when she was talking about the origins of humanity, did she mention anything in those realms?
She did. I mean, we did go into Jesus a little bit. Yeah, I mean, similar to what you've just said. Jesus was part Anunnaki, apparently. But she doesn't have any faith in Christianity or any of the world's religions. Basically, there is a creator, but it's nothing to do with what we think it is. I mean, if you want my honest opinion on what she was saying, having listened to it all, she was very good and it was entertaining. But it seemed to me like she was picking up different conspiracy theories and trying to tie them all together into one coherent thing. Yeah, and that's, and it's like, and at the time I was just kind of letting her speak, really, because I think when you let people speak, they kind of tell you more than if you keep interrupting. And
so she didn't bring any new information to the table?
No, none.
And how many hours did you give her, may I ask?
In total, I just gave her an hour.
Just an hour, yeah. And you didn't get... I thought... I was led to believe that you was doing another as well, a follow-up interview, or did that not come to pass in the end?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, just to correct, we did one TikTok live, where it was just her voice only. And that was
of course, that's right.
That was 37 minutes, I think, because she was late, because she doesn't do technology. So, being not of this world. I mean, I laugh now.
Human, the rules don't apply to me. Brilliant.
So we did 37 minutes.
Plus then, the hour. So
I decided to invite her back and give her a fair hearing. So we did a Zoom, which I recorded on Zoom and just put it out as it was. I didn't edit it. The whole full hour.
Okay.
So she's had an hour and 37 minutes. And I was thinking about it again, but I probably won't. She made some claims about Yellowstone, which is putting herself out there, and, it didn't happen. Which, most people thought it's brave, yeah, but where do you go from there? It's a bit
That's
like
the
Donald
point,
Trump,
isn't it?
Really, it's like
she must know.
You say these things.
I mean, you'd like to think. I mean, if it was me who was telling them kind of, or making those kind of claims, and it didn't come true, I'd probably want to disappear under a rock somewhere. Maybe I would.
Yeah, but people are blaming me. It's like, well, I didn't say it.
You jinxed the whole thing.
And the Yellowstone thing, like the Yellowstone thing, comes back every so often. It's always in times of struggle, I guess. When the world's energies are a little more up there. It's always the largest scary event, like, oh, Yellowstone's gonna blow, and it's always Yellowstone. It's never some other huge volcano, which
no one's heard of.
There are definitely more out there than just Yellowstone.
Well, let's indulge our inner children for a moment and sort of play with this for a second. If you listen to some people out there, I mean, there's Chris Bledsoe, he's a big one. He's made some big claims over the years. Some pretty profound things as well. Actually, I really enjoy the stuff he does. And I've got no reason to believe there's any way why he would have lied about any of it. And one of the things he says, and this sort of ties in, is that next year, as of March 2026, when the regular star aligns with the Sphinx in a glowing red, humanity will receive a new knowledge That's something that's been made, a claim that's been made. Now, again, there's a lot of people out there, and he said the return of Jesus. That's also been something that's been mentioned. There's a lot of things happening around the world, and again, this has all been tied in. Seismic activity. There seems to be a lot of volcanoes erupting. There seems to be a lot of earthquakes, a lot of weird weather.
Yeah.
This isn't stuff that's made up. I know the Yellowstone animals leaving in herds is, but the other stuff's not. That's really happening. There are some kind of weird things happening globally, and people are tying it to the end of days.
I think this it feels quite apocalyptic to me, not just in terms of what's happening in the natural world, but just in terms of society, wars, politics. It's a slight desperation to civilization.
Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it? But that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, how do you feel about all of that stuff? I mean, do you feel like we're coming to a head in any way? Or?
I do. I mean, I think there's more evidence that, there is a distinct higher possibility of World War III. I mean, no one wants to talk about it, and I'm not doom mongering, but there's a lot of evidence that the British government's preparing a new defence bill, basically readying us for war with Russia, basically. It's now doing a kind of a alarm call on people's phones, to, as an air raid signal, basically. There's all sorts of stuff they're preparing for, and it's quite scary, really. But that adds to our psychology and how we interact with the world. We've always looked to the stars, to the heavens for guidance, for meaning. And that's what we're doing. We want the return of Christ or Christ-like figure, whatever your religion is. We want a savior, and I think a lot of UFO research, especially the American ones, play into this and feed off it, and they want to be the one that brings this new dawn in. It's mad.
Yeah,
I think
like you said, there's so many. I'll go on, Stein. I'll let you jump in. But
sorry about that. I think the whole returning of Christ thing. Like I may be a pagan. Like I'm not a Christian. I'm not really into that. But I don't believe I am more spiritual, mystic, whatever. I don't believe it is a physical being coming back. Christ consciousness definitely is coming back. People are elevating in consciousness. People are, there is mass awakening going on. People are starting to ask questions, are, more and more every day, are not believing anything of what is going on, are actively protesting, and even like people we have had here on the podcast, separating themselves from society. That is all done in or through a higher consciousness, a higher state of being, which is Christ, is the Christ energy, is the Christos being. Yeah, but it's not literally Jesus in his physical form coming down from heaven, be like, yo, I'm back, I'm here to save the day. I mean, it'd be absolutely amazing if that happens.
I think you've put your finger on something. No, it does feel like
that happens. All the
I mean, wouldn't it just? But you're right. It does feel like the veil is lifting worldwide. This isn't a UK thing. I mean, you're obviously you're in Holland, Netherlands, should I say? So you can tell me if the veil's lifting there. But it feels like this is a global thing, not a local thing. And that goes across the spectrum, doesn't it? Of every topic you can almost name, really, that there is in contention. There has been secrecy around. Nobody believes a damn thing about it anymore, and everybody wants answers yesterday.
Yeah, you're right. I know we talked about it a bit last time, but I'm convinced throughout my research that the UFOs are not necessarily physical. There's something non-material. I mean, Chris Bledsoe talks about it a little bit. There's something paranormal, spiritual, maybe from another dimension, another reality, as opposed to being from another planet. And that, all my research has led me to that crazy assumption. I mean, I don't know if I told you I had my own experience when I was 5 or 6. A bit like Chris Bledsoe, I had this woman's face come out of my bedroom wall. It was glowing. It was blue as well, and it was otherworldly. At the time, I interpreted it as angelic, having a Christian upbringing. But now I look back at it, think, well, maybe it was something ultra-terrestrial, something like that. So that's why I interview people who say they're Anunnaki or an angel, for instance, because I know there's more to life than material reality, for sure, and consciousness, like Stein said, is a big part to play. So yeah, sorry, I'm diverting off the topic, but
No, we're staying there. I mean, when you think about it as well, you talk about spectrums, dimensions. I mean, we're getting into the realms of quantum science there, aren't we? Quantum entanglement and other complications that are probably way above my pay grade to be getting into. However, the scientific world is taking this very seriously now, whereas maybe 20, 30 years ago, you'd have been laughed out of the lab. People now are genuinely taking serious that there are layers to this time-space thing, and that maybe we as a species just cannot see in all the spectrums of light. And there are other things happening. And they've already admitted as well that we only know what really about 60% of what stuff is. There's a 40% out that we don't know what it is, outside of the dark and light matter, and we don't know what it is, what this stuff is. But there is definitely something there,
Yeah, and quantum physics, we don't really understand it. There's a leading paranormal researcher, Evelyn Hollow. She does a TV program on BBC called Uncanny. She's one of the researchers on there. I've interviewed her, and she's convinced that paranormal phenomena can be explained by quantum physics, quantum entanglement, maybe going into other dimensions. And we could be seeing a similar thing with UFOs and extraterrestrials. John Keel was the first researcher to really talk about this in the 50s and 60s, about the ultra-terrestrials. But
word's been thrown around a little bit recently, hasn't it? Ultra-terrestrials. That's just today. I'm sure I've seen that crop up.
Really? Okay. I'm a massive John Keel fan. He was a journalist, proper journalist, old school journalist, and a bit like Charles Fort, who gave the word Fortean. And he basically spent a lot of time going through old newspaper clippings, and then found there were so many, UFO or flying saucer reports, and he would go and visit where they were, interview the people who had these experiences, and he just wrote books and books about it. But he noticed there was always something odd about them, otherworldly, and just the way the occupants of the craft interacted. It was like they weren't real beings, and like they would change to fit, the culture at the time. So, going back through history, we'd see angels, we see demons. Technological age, we see spaceships and extraterrestrials. But he's pretty sure that we're all the same energy, and he called them ultra-terrestrials. They're actually from another dimension. He actually interacted with them, had phone calls, messages from these ultra-terrestrials from other dimensions. It's well weird, and a lot of it's documented in the film The Mothman Prophecies, which came out in the 90s, I think it was, Richard Gere. But it's based on his work that he did. So yeah, it's the theory where I'm going to now.
There's a lot of people, there are a contingent of people out there, should I say, that believe that this will never come to light as long as a religion is around, and specifically the Catholic Church. There are a lot of people that say that there are secrets to this held within the Vatican, and that the Church and religions are the ones suppressing this information due to the very nature of the fact that it would throw everything into question.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely agree, and I've been researching this quite a lot, and I've actually been, through a friend of mine, I've got access to the Vatican archives, so I want to go there and have a look in with specific reference to UFO, strange lights, orbs, and things like that, which there's been so many documented sightings in the Catholic faith. Just got to look at Fatima in Portugal, what those peasant children saw. They basically saw lights in the sky. They say they saw the Virgin Mary, but they didn't really. If you look at the accounts, they interpreted that as the Virgin Mary because they were Catholics, and that's what the priests told them.
Well, the word is they got given 3 secrets, weren't they? And one of which was so...
Yeah, and we still haven't got the true secret. And there's a researcher friend of mine called Rob Howells who's written a book about this. And he's researched it quite a lot. Yeah, the true third secret of Fatima hasn't been revealed. It's still under lock and key because it's too, like you say, too wild. But I'm sure there's a lot of documents in the archives that prove the origins of Christianity are not what we think they are. Maybe the origins of Christ, which you've alluded to. Probably didn't, he probably was married, had children, things like that. But, was he something else? He did have, if you take the New Testament at face value, he had some sort of magic powers, gifts, whatever you want to call them. Was that technology? We don't know at the end of the day.
What I will say right now, actually, just to make the audience aware, that this is how it goes. What's happened right now in the last 20 minutes, half an hour, this is how this topic goes, or how it should go. You can see how that we haven't stayed on one thing. We've bounced from here to there, to there, to there, to there.
Yeah.
I hope that you're following along. And this is the fun of this, right? Because you connect the dots and you tie things together. Things that usually maybe on your own you wouldn't put together. Now that through the medium of having this conversation, you can start to put things together and paint a picture, and you can see how things are linked. I hope you are, like I said, following, and you can see as well what we can see and how things... It's curious how they all intermingle and link in with one another, these stories. Please continue. Sorry, Mark. I just wanted to, make the audience aware of.
No, you're right. I mean, we're kind of bouncing off each other here, which is great. I mean, the one thing I will say about all this, after all my researching into UFOs and paranormal, I don't have the answers. And then anyone who tells you that they have the answers and know what they are is lying. We don't. It's still a quest worth pursuing, but it
is often fruitless. However, it does feel like we're wading through treacle, but at least we're going forward slightly. It does feel like we are progressing slightly, inch by inch.
But we have to be wary of false dawns, like we said about earlier. There's always that, there's a date over there, and that's going to be the when we get disclosure. And
another thing to that as well, we had Gary Heseltine on yesterday, and one of the things we spoke about was the disinformation that was out there, because obviously we went really deep into the Rendlesham stuff. It should be going live this evening, actually, that episode. Excellent. But we went really deep in, based on his new book. He went back and revisited everything and went thorough. And that's what he came on to speak about. And he concluded that there was 17 different occasions on that particular event, not the 2 that were reported initially.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But one of the things he mentioned was during the 3 or 4 years after the event, the US had their OSO or OSI officers, which included Richard Doty and various other obviously people that who've worked within that field, who were the ones that were closing things down. And obviously Gary and I made the link. He didn't actually say it, but I made the link, and he didn't disagree. But there's a reason why Colonel Holt and various other people, they went under lock and key and they just stopped talking about it, and the stories didn't make sense, and everything kind of went away weirdly. And then there's people like Richard Doty operating in the background. There's very real evidence for that play, that not evidence, but there's cause for concern on, that these people, they're out there spinning bullshit, and they have done for years, the Richard Doty's and the Nick Popes out there in the world. Just, they're the ones picking the information, picking and choosing which information gets out there, which circulates. And so will we ever get to the truth? Who knows? Who are the disinformation artists? I don't know. But they're out there, and they've been proven to be.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they seem to love the number 17 as well. Like that's coming up quite a lot. Like also during the, like the whole stuff that happened 5 years ago, it's always 17 and all of that. The Americans, of course, they're being very obsessed with 1776. And funny enough, like 17, the 17th letter of the alphabet is Q, which is the highest military clearance there is, and of course, like speaking of think 5 years ago, QAnon, disclosure, whatever. So it's always, it's like disclosure, just Q as in like a letter, or clearance, and 17. It's always like those three seem to go really well together. So like now every time when, at least me personally, when I see as it gets, 17 this, I'm like, is it though, or like, are you just putting it in there, like, 33 have perished, or like 322, and it's like, you do seem to love your numbers, as do I, by the way. That's why I know all about them. But it's, sorry, just had to get that in there, like 17 Q, military clearance.
You've been struggling with that one all day.
No. It's just I do like numerology, and I'm very fascinated by gematria as well. Never really understood it, so like, don't come at me with gematria. Like, I don't know, but numerology I do get.
Sure.
Coming back to the issue there, or the point that was being made was, there are disinformation artists out there, and whatever the theories are, and we have connected a lot of dots in just the time that we've been on here, we may never know, which is a sad thing, which may lead to it being a catastrophic disclosure, which is what we discussed last time, which might be just what happens. And now if Chris Bledsoe and what you say and what other people say is going to happen, it sounds like that's where it's going to be. It's not going to be via a man in a suit.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what could happen at the moment? We've got Donald Trump has basically cornered himself with the whole Epstein thing. The only way out for him to go now is all guns blazing. He's literally cornered. Huh?
Do you think this could be his Hail Mary, the UFO thing, the ultimate distraction?
It could be catastrophic disclosure via President Trump. Soon to be ex-president.
Can you imagine the ego?
Yeah, but it would. But he loves creating chaos and being the centre of attention. So you can just see it.
I'd like it if he did. I know it'd cause absolute carnage. But I suppose there'd be a small contingent of the world, i.e., us, it would be sat there cheekily chuckling to ourselves, I think, as the world burns around us. All this that we've been fighting for years, and then there it is in one foul swoop. And
just because he's a bit petulant, but whether he knows the full truth anyway is still open to question, isn't it?
I've seen his interviews on Joe Rogan, and he didn't seem to be overly interested in it, full stop.
No, he didn't, no.
Not the fact that he didn't know anything. I mean, who knows what he knows? But he didn't seem too interested. Now, maybe that is because he genuinely doesn't know anything. But I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it's possible, because nobody wanted him in the office, did they? He didn't have a contingent of people around him in his first term that liked him. We know that. He said that himself just as well. So maybe he wouldn't be told. But I think he's been told this time. I think he's made a point of knowing this time round. So I think he knows now a hell of a lot more than he did in the last term. But whether he releases it,
I mean,
it'd be interesting.
Like,
but anyway, let's get on to the juicy stuff. We can speculate on that all night with Donald Trump and all the rest of it, and how much fun we could have with that. But let's get back down to the facts. Is we don't know anything yet. But the reason why we wanted Mark back on is because some information has come to light recently. We've seen a TikTok of you announcing this information. So Mark, again, I'll give you the floor. I won't steal your thunder. Please tell us.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. There's a senior intelligence officer in the UK military who's come forward. They are anonymous at the moment. I'm hoping to get them on camera, even if it's disguised. That's the next step. But basically, they told me and given me evidence that the UK's UFO program is still active. But everyone thought it was shut down, or just kind of. I mean, I've put in for information requests recently, and there's like an air secretariat to something up in High Wycombe that officially answers anything UFO related. Okay, but there's an active program, I've been told, and it's not run by the UK government, it's been farmed out, American style, to British aerospace. Okay, and they've got two sites. One is Warton, Wharton in Lancashire, and the other one's somewhere in Surrey, which I haven't been able to establish yet. But they're run by BAE, okay, and it's recently come forward and told me that there's the BAE have got links to Lockheed Martin, who've obviously been in the news quite a lot recently. So there's an active UFO program. They're supposedly trying to reverse engineer recovered craft, okay? And apparently he says we got at least 3 craft, maybe more, but 3 have been confirmed. One was from the Penturk incident in Wales, which Kaz Clark has talked about a lot, and she's gone all the way to the King and can't get any further. It's definitely something was retrieved there. There's one in Scotland of unknown origin, and I forget where the other one is actually. My mind's gone blank. But it's 3 all in. The other one is Blackpool, which is the one that no one's ever heard of, and this is like off the coast of Blackpool in the North Sea. And this was like early 70s. This one,
Irish Sea.
Irish Sea. Yeah, I keep saying sorry. I know. I've been pulled on that. It's because I'm from up north and I'm used to the North Sea. I'm from the East Coast.
Let that go usually, but because the information's so serious, I wanted anybody to be watching in to know that he knows the difference between the North and the Irish Sea.
You know? So yeah, it's the Irish Sea, just off the coast of Blackpool in the northwest of England. That craft, so I've been told, was originally taken to RAF Mackennaheath, can't pronounce it, in Scotland, but then is now housed at BAE in Wharton in Lancashire. But this program's got links to Lockheed Martin in America. The intelligence officer said, whatever you do, don't poke around too much because they will, it's not messing around, and I don't want to mess around. And he's also, what the interesting thing is, he said, we have an active UFO crash and retrieval program, which means that if something crashes anywhere in the UK, that this team will be there within 20 minutes. I don't know how that's physically possible.
Just on that, can I ask, when you say his team, does it mean that there's a team deployed by the farmed out, or the BAA, much like the Jake Barber working for the Indian?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So a private contractor would
basically,
react to the crash retrieval, as is the pattern in America seems to be.
Yeah, that's what he's alleging, which is like, I never knew this or heard of this until he's told me this, and it's like, so the next step for us is to, get a proper interview done. And we've got some more questions. He's also put me in touch with other witnesses that want to come forward. So it could all snowball.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping. That's as much as I know at the moment. It is.
Well, let's put some credibility on it for them. If we just walk through everything you just said there, things that we're looking at, and this is all about connecting the dots, like we've mentioned multiple times now. So straight back to the beginning, we're talking crash retrievals. This is a word that's come up recently, quite recently, since the turn of the year, especially so since Jake Barber came forward. For anybody who doesn't know or hasn't seen earlier shows, he's in charge of the Skywatcher team, who are now trying to bring disclosure the scientific way. But he was previously a private contractor, ex-Special Forces helicopter, who worked for a private aerospace company in the USA, whose job was specifically to fly the helicopter out, retrieved downed craft, whatever they may be, ours, theirs, up aboves, whatever, and take them to a location. That was his job. That was his role. He's a whistleblower. He's come out and he's said that. So there we go. Straight away, seeing the similarities there. They've got a crash retrieval team, and they've got a crash retrieval team that is operated by ex-military personnel for an aerospace company on behalf of the intelligence or whichever 3-letter agencies set them out on task.
Yeah.
This is a pattern we've seen before, and it's a pattern now we're seeing again. And like you've mentioned already, we've seen the names: Lockheed, Boeing. We know that they've been mentioned many times, and Raytheon as well. Yeah, and the Pentrick incident, we know that's very real. Kaz has spoke a lot about that. Maybe what we're seeing now, Jake Barber said this when he took the interview back in, I think it was February with Ross Coulthard, that as a result of what he's done and what he's doing, more people will come forward, or more people will come forward that are working within this sector. Now, this chap that you're speaking to sounds, obviously, he's active service still. So he's got to be very careful in what he does. But it sounds maybe he was buoyed on by Jake Barber's efforts and what is actually happening. Maybe this is a conjoined effort. People are genuinely now starting to care and come forward.
Yeah, I mean, my contact has concerns that the program's not run by the British military, I guess. It's run by this private company. That would be my concern as well, really.
But to be honest with you, I think that's probably a conclusion we could have got to ourselves, really.
Yeah.
I think we could understand at this point it's way bigger than local governments.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a little bit apprehensive, to be honest with.
I can imagine.
Digging around. So, yeah, but, I'm a journalist. I want to uncover the truth.
Yeah. I think. I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? It's a tough place to be where you are now, because you're right. You're flirting with a line that many people have crossed before. And like you say, there's some strange entities out there that seem to be playing in this arena. So I would obviously say be careful. Goes without saying. But obviously make sure that you're insured. You've got insurance. If you know what I mean. Anything you do, make copies. Oh God, it worries me. Anyway, I don't want to end on a dark note or a sinister note. But when are you planning? When are you planning the next step, the interview?
Yeah, soon. Next few weeks, I'm hoping.
Well,
I'll let you know. I mean,
without saying, we'll get you back on after that, if that's okay, Mark.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Because, I don't want to just sit on this, if someone comes forward with world-changing news evidence, I don't want to sit on it and wait for my next movie and make loads of money out of it. That's not the plan. Maybe it should be my plan, but yeah.
Utilize that plan and utilize it well, isn't it? I don't want to poke you too much on it, but obviously we know that the chap's active and he's still working within the section now, within the sector. And he said he's shown you evidence. What is there any more you could say on that?
No.
Keep me in the dark for that one. Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
You don't ask, you don't get. I've got to ask, haven't I? Otherwise, I won't be doing my job.
The difficult situation is I don't want to reveal my source, and I don't want to jeopardize national security. I used to be a civil servant for 20 odd years, and I signed this official secrets act, nothing to do with military, I have to say. But I am obviously wary talking about this stuff, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's something I can back up on that. I'm military myself. I've been in the raw signals for years, so I understand completely. There is a need to know, absolutely. And the public do need to know, but it's the information, the right information at the right time, I believe. As we spoke about in the last episode, there are things that can remain secret, but there are other things that shouldn't. And knowing that we're not alone in the universe is one of those things. Sure,
absolutely. I mean, just going back to UFOs in this country, it's like I've been putting in freedom of information requests, especially with regard to the drone situation, which, we had in December, January, February, and up at RAF Lakenheath and things like that. There's a lot of drone activity. But I've only got so far and, getting pushed back on the grounds of national security. So you've got those questions there. Is that the real reason? If it is, I should push back, because if it is something of national security, I don't want to,
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's an ethical thing, isn't it?
Definitely. Did you see the thing that recently? There's been reports of UFOs over RF bases. This is in the last week, I believe, in the last 7-8 days.
I haven't, no.
There's been reports of UFOs and jets flying off over Wales. There's been that. I've heard many story about that. People talking about that. I didn't know whether you'd heard anything about it or not.
I haven't. No, that sounds like I need to know about that.
Yeah, that was something I seen that was interesting. Somebody asked me about it before, actually, which triggered me to have a little look into it, but I ran out of time. But maybe it's something worth looking into again. But Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for coming on and shedding some light on what the lovely lady had to say about the Anunnaki. I know it was a busy day, and again, thank you for carving out some time to come on and jump on with us, especially sharing that information about the crash.
Yeah, I'll come back on again.
That is incredible.
Just out of interest, what was Gary Heseltine's view on what happened at Rendlesham? Man-made or aircraft or something else?
He believes, isn't it, Jai? He doesn't. He believes it's definitely not us. Sure. There was just too many. There was just too much. There's too much. There's too many anomalies and variant stories, and not the right people saying the right information. Again, the book he brought out, Non-Human, it goes into everything. Obviously, the reason why he got to it, I don't know if you know the story of why he's done the book. In 2017, you'll like that one, 17 again, Stein. They were going to make a documentary on the Rendlesham case, and they were looking for somebody to be the lead investigator on it. Obviously, Gary's been on documentaries before as an investigator, but never been asked to be the lead. So when he was asked to be the lead investigator on that, he obviously being a detective and former military policeman himself, it kind of took him back a bit, and he took the job on and thinking, right, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it the way a detective should do it and leave no stone unturned. Which he did, and that entire procedure has been put in his book. It's called Non-Human. He concluded it for me yesterday, in summarised. But by the end of the book, you can look into the details of it. But it was 17 different occasions, and it started earlier than when was first said, and it finished later as well. And there were other things as well. There was Larry Warren was the interview that Gary got with him. That sort of changed everything. And again, the Bustinza as well. There was Jim Penniston, wasn't there? And there was John Burroughs.
John Burroughs, Edwin Bustinza, and Larry Warren. Yeah.
And then Colonel Holt. And those are the three that I just mentioned there that I think, and this is me making the connection, they were told to shut up, basically. Don't say anything else. He said too much. And years later, Gary has managed to glean information from Bustinza pertaining to the Larry Warren whistleblower and what he had to say and all of that side of the story. So that's opened up all of those different avenues, which is obviously what's led him to where he is. I haven't read the book, but I will read the book because it really lit a fire under my backside yesterday talking to him about it, and it really interested me. Because what I thought I knew about that was sort of thrown up in the air. Having spoken to him, do you know what I mean? So I'm going to look into that.
We've just finished making a film about Rendlesham, our own film, because we went there and did our own investigation now, because we were interested in people who've had sightings since then, have been to Rendlesham and had experiences since then, and there's so many. We've even got a UFO shot in 2001, I think it is, by an ex-police officer, John Hanson. That's in the film, and we went there. We did a CE5. I'm a bit skeptical at whole manifesting UFOs, but we did that, and something well weird happened. It's all on camera. It's all on film. That's unexplained. So it's like
it's on my to-do list is to go and have a sleepover in Rendlesham Forest. I won't be going on my own, but it's something I fancy doing. Any takers out there, any interested parties, feel free. But I'm not going on my own. I tried Andy, but he's not having it. Yeah, it's something I'm interested in doing. But there's another, there's a lot of these. I'd like to go and spend a couple of nights out under the stars, just having a look at some of these interesting places where people have seen things, just for my own interest, I think, just for my own curiosity. But I think we'll end it there. Mark, thank you so much for jumping on. As I said before, I can't wait to get you back on after what that intelligence chap says regarding these crash retrievals. That really is exciting. Yeah, thank you. As ever, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe. Give us some nice feedback in the comment section as well. Take care.
And also, one last thing. Vote for Across the Pond
yes.
on the Podcast Awards. We are actually one of the nominees. The link will be in the description box.
UK Podcast
down
Awards. Come on.
below. Hell yeah, we are nominees. So do please vote for us. We have been working so incredibly hard on the podcast, having so many amazing, guests on, doing great solo shows and all of that. So, recognition would absolutely be amazing. But indeed, as always, as Lee said, do like, share, subscribe. Find us on Instagram, find us on TikTok, subscribe there as well. Definitely on Instagram. One of our reels is popping off like crazy, which is amazing. So, to everyone who's made that happen, thank you so much. If you are listening to this later on Spotify or Apple Podcast, do remember to leave that 5-star rating. It helps us out so incredibly much. Yeah, that's it. Mark, thank you for coming on. Lee, thank you for having me on. Dude, I mean, you gotta do it properly. That's what I'm for. But okay, anyways, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. We will see you all next time on Across the Pond.
This is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page. Across the Pond.
This is a Fox News alert. The Epstein files have been released.
Across the Pond.
You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening
Very serious.
now.